I'm not gonna lie to you, when comics want to get sad, they can get really sad and become quick tearjerkers. Stories like Leah, which covers a little girl that's homeless and dreams of meeting Spider-Man, and loves Spider-Man so much that she uses the newspaper clippings of his face to keep her warm throughout the night, until the cold weather would finally catch up to her and make her so sick that she could never wake up again. And Spider-Man would pretty much find her when it was too late. And as Leah passes on, she dreams of flying with all of her favorite superheroes to the sunrise. It's one of the saddest stories that I've ever read. And there are so many other stories that make me want to cry when I read them, no matter how many times I've read them through. Take, for instance, All-Star Superman, when Superman swoops down to a kid that wants to take his own life and gives him a second to tell him that everything will be okay with time. Something that we should all hear once in a while. Then there's Rhino asking Spider-Man how does he even go on with his life after losing a loved one. And the list keeps going for how many stories have made me shed a couple tears. Or maybe I'm just a crybaby, who knows. But there's one story that I wanted to tell you all today that is sad but has a sweet ending to it. And the story is essentially about Spider-Man giving a kid the best day of his life. As we start the story with Doc Ock seemingly about to defeat Spider-Man on top of the Manhattan Bridge. But right before Doc Ock can kill Spidey, he hears a kid's voice yell, "Hey." And that's when we're introduced to Spider-Bite, who Doc Ock thinks is a ridiculous idea, thinking he's just some 8-year-old kid playing dress up. But that's when Spider-Bite swings in, sucker punching Doc Ock, saying that he's actually 9.5. Now, after a bit of fighting, Spider-Bite manages to hold his own against Doc Ock until out of nowhere, Vulture swoops in to rescue Doc Ock, allowing them both to escape on a nearby train. Meanwhile, Spidey finds it a bit odd that they used public transport to escape, but that aside, he tries to get himself unstuck from a huge pillar, but needs help from Spider-Bite. So the two lift together and Spider-Bite saves Spider-Man. They both then share a fist bump and begin to swing off to stop Doc Ock and the Vulture's nefarious plot to destroy New York. However, a while later, once they find themselves taking the train, they run into more villains waiting to get a drop on the duo. That is until the villains become outmatched by the two and escape towards the station. And once Spidey and Spider-Bite arrive to stop the villains, they run into the Sinister 60, and immediately a deadly fight ensues, with the duo fighting some of Spidey's deadliest foes like Shocker, Venom, Vulture, Mephisto, Mysterio, and so on, never wavering. Until the final villain left standing turns out to be Stiltman as he tries to run away from the pair. But no matter how big Stiltman's legs may be or how far he can walk, he cannot escape the Spiders of Justice as they web up his legs to send Stiltman tumbling to the ground. Now, after the fight had ended, they would both reflect on how funny it was that it came down to Stiltman, with Spider-Bite saying that he's one of his greatest foes. Why is Spidey questioning that? But then Spidey replies, "Do you think that just because he's tall?" And then Spider-Bite says, "Maybe." Spider-Man then tells Spider-Bite that he'll get taller one day pretty soon, but Spider-Bite says that he hopes so. And a moment of silence passes and Spidey asks Spider-Bite what's in the box, and it turns out to be an action figure of him. But while talking about the action figure and its unrealistic articulation, Spider-Bite starts to cough, so Spidey takes off his mask and tells him not to worry about his secret identity. Spider-Bite saved the whole world, and he thinks that they've had enough adventure for today, showing that everything was just in Spider-Bite's imagination. Spider-Man then thanks everyone for masterfully playing his villains' roles as everyone starts to clean up. And after that big adventure, everyone thinks it's a good idea for the boy to get some sleep, as Spidey says that saving the world sometimes can be exhausting. But the boy screams that he doesn't want to go to bed. But immediately after the boy screamed, he would apologize to Spider-Man, afraid that he ruined everything. But Spidey would assure him that nothing has changed. He's just going to go talk to his father for a quick second. Afterwards, the parents then begin to apologize to Spidey, but he says that it's fine. He understands that sometimes kids don't want to go to bed while they're having so much fun. But then the parents say that it's not that. He had an outburst because he's afraid if he goes to bed, he won't ever wake up again. So Spidey looks through the glass into the boy's room for a few seconds and turns to ask the boy's parents if he has a coat, so he can do one last thing before leaving, with the next page showing Spider-Man and Spider-Bite sharing one last swing together, ending the story. I hope you guys like the story, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side.